Speechcraft. Right? Yeah.
Great. Building government.
SGI 1.
Okay. And closing opposition.
Right.
Great. All right. Hi guys, welcome to the Octos Finals of Cambridge EDC 2017. Congratulations to all people making it thus far. The opening government we have RJC 1, the opening opposition we have Speechcraft 2, the closing government we have SGI 1, the closing opposition we have Speechcraft 3. My name is Deepan, I will be chairing this round. Paneling alongside me is Stefan and Geeta. Seeing as there is quite a crowd, general house rules do apply, so if you have mobile phones, please ensure that they are silent. If you want to exit or enter the room, please make sure you do so in between speeches, not during speeches. Alright, without further ado, the motion that reads, give me a second. This House welcomes the rise of the Asian century. I call upon the Honorable Prime Minister to take the podium.
It's a bit ludicrous, I think, that if you look at the permanent 5 members of the Security Council, of which include things like France and Britain, you recognize that countries that are becoming increasingly irrelevant in the changing geopolitical climate of the world are controlling important power dynamics of today's society. We think this is abhorrent, we think this is wrong, and therefore we welcome the rise of the Asian century. For too long, outdated ideas of Western exceptionalism have led to incredibly harmful material harms on their side, but more importantly, things like the Bretton Woods system that have pervaded the entire international economy have been harmful to them. The rise of the Asian century includes the unprecedented increase in both the domestic and the international economies and the growth. And we think this is important, as I'm going to be arguing to you in my speech. So what would an Asian century look like? We think it will include the rise of China and India as the leading global powers and economic powers. Things like MNCs are going to station their headquarters in these countries. They're going to be jobs for people, but most importantly, it's going to reverse the power dynamics on the international sphere through things like One Belt, One Road, other such initiatives. Our unique contribution is going to be threefold. First, we're going to contextualize this in the power differential of the world. Second, we're going to tell you about our mechanisms for economic growth both domestically and internationally. Third, we're going to argue on the big geopolitical climate and the small picture, which is the domestic harms to these societies. My first argument is going to be about reversing the power asymmetry, both on an ideological and secondly on economic front. Let's talk about ideology first. Decades of colonialism in Asian societies has meant that Western people feel justified in imposing and projecting their values upon Asian societies, where these values are not necessarily superior in today's context. But more importantly, we think we're principally justified because Western superiority has led things like Castle on a Hill, like the American dream, or like American exceptionalism, leading people to impose animosity on other people. Yes.
During the ideals of spreading Western superiority, many states created democracy and finally granted human rights and government oppressors.
So I'm not saying Western superiority in and of itself is a bad thing, but I'm saying it's becoming increasingly irrelevant in the current context. So surely it may have started, led people to start making certain societies, but we think given the current context where there's an infighting in the EU and powers like Britain and France are becoming increasingly irrelevant, this is where Asian societies are needed to rise up. Asian values can equally be good in the current context. Let me explain why. Values like collectivism mean they believe in the entire upliftment of the society, even to the rural areas of the society. More importantly, things like entrepreneurship. So you see China pioneering things like we pay or self-driving cars. We think these are important advances that have been made, and we think this is important. More importantly, we think Asian economies have been far more advanced. The rise of the Asian tigers have been testament to this. That is why we think we need to reverse the ideology that Western people should be respected by making Asians indispensable to them. This is where we really reverse it and change perceptions towards Chinese or Asian people in general, like Jack Ma. Second, I'm going to talk about economic upliftment. Let's look at this small scale of domestic upliftment, right? In rural India and China, because of the time sensitivity of the issue, it necessitates things like scientific advances in order to better their lives. technological advances and things like comparative advantage are something that Asian societies have, and that is why we think the rise of Asian societies has led to increased benefits, not only to Asian societies themselves, but recognizing that these have one of the most populous regions in the world. We recognize that this is a benefit to like a lot of people, a huge mass of people, to things like collectivism as well. Second, let's argue on a global scale, economic power. We think it gives the international economy greater markets to like go in and trade with. It's better for the international economy and spending as well. But let me tell you why this also makes the West more competitive. So they may say this is bad because they're going to run the Trumpian line of logic that this takes away jobs from America, right? So firstly, we're going to say that economic restructuring can be a good thing as well. Given the competition and threat faced by posed by West Asian societies, we think they're going to be incentivized to like up their economies as well. Moreover, there are more important considerations. So maybe we trade off unemployment in the short run, but in the long run, what we enhance is like a better economic climate in the world, and that's why it's better. Second, argument on geopolitics. The context is power dynamics are increasingly outdated. P5 are outdated, and it's based on increasingly irrelevant concepts and conflicts like the Cold War or like Napoleonic Wars, even in the case of France. These are irrelevant power dynamics, and things like France and Britain are increasingly irrelevant due to like infighting within the EU or even like taking themselves out of the EU entirely. This complacency and Western exceptionalism, furthermore, has led to like incredibly self-centered interventions in Afghanistan, Somalia, and Iraq, because these people are incredibly interventionist. The comparative is this. Within Chinese or Asian, Chinese and India, meaning the Asian bloc within the UN, or like other such societies, are able to engender a far more cooperative international community by leveling up not only the power differential, but because they also tend to be less interventionist, right? So we think there are a lot less isolationist, but a lot more isolationist, but in a good way, and that is why we think it's far better because we shatter Western-centric concepts of power, and in so doing also remove the carte blanche for Western societies to impose their values on other people indiscriminately. This is where we equalize the playing field, we help Chinese and Indians, but we also uplift the international economy.
Here, the House Senator Prime Minister, none of us leader opposition to introduce the opposition. Speak here.
We think that it is absolutely hilarious that the pro-side thinks that this case will actually help the people of China and people of Asia. We say that this rise will only create more detriment to the people, not only of Asia, but also to Western countries. Now, first of all, let me tell you why this creates a bad influence to the people of China, or as to the people of Asia. As we know, in many economies in Asia, for example, China and India, most of these economies are based on a central government. Even if they do have some instances of democracy within them, these are not true instances of democracy. Most of the government-led programs are based on what the people want, but instead it is simply not decided by the people. For example, they brought up the example of Jack Ma and how he's an independent person with independent plans for economic growth in his own company. But instead, we say that in fact, Jack Ma has been and will continue to be a tool and vessel of the Chinese government. Why? Because the Chinese government's idea of moving China and moving local sources out to the globe has been only achieved through these individual people, right? So the Chinese government will still be able to have control over these companies and will still have complete control over what they call independent sellers and independent companies. Because in fact, in a central government, it creates this situation where even if you create your own government, you must comply with the Chinese laws and Chinese government to be able to rise to the top. So why does this create one, equal distribution, and two, why democracy will have no chance to continue rising in this scenario? First of all, equal distribution. We say that China's incentive for economic growth is obviously profit-driven, because only by gaining more profit will they be able to gain more power on the international scene. That is what they are going for by developing such a strong economy. What we say that this is why they want to maximize the ability to make money, which means that even if they gain this kind of economic power and economic dominance in the world, they will only put this money to places that matter in their eyes. They say that in China or in Asian values, there's something called collectivism that people want. But instead, we say that collectivism only exists if you're rich. Yes.
So let's say on your side, the Western economies continue to dominate. How would Chinese or Indians be affected or be benefited in any way as compared to maybe a minority, at least some Chinese or Indians on our side?
Right, okay, so we're not saying that we want to continue having this huge Western dominance, but instead we're saying that even they have admitted that these Western dominances and harms are becoming even less irrelevant because of the globalism and international mindset of the world that is entering into, right? So no longer are these Western harms being that big of a problem in our society because we think that these are being naturally mitigated as they themselves have proved to throughout their speech. So we're saying that instead we don't want Asian countries to have this level of dominance. Why? Because this creates an unequal distribution of wealth. For example, in my city, Shanghai, in China, it means that all of the economic wealth has been moved to Shanghai. All of the foreigners, all of the people who want to go and create trade with China has to go through these larger ports. And China will not spend more money on other parts of China and other people in China who don't benefit them economically. So for example, another example in this is Beijing, how Beijing has lost its power economically as a trading point, and that's why China is now trying to change the capital of China away from Beijing, because they simply see that place as a discarded place that they no longer can make money out of. So we say that that creates a huge environment in which they don't care about their people. They won't give their people the benefits of being an economic superpower. Instead, what they do is they just move their capital and move their state to where they can make the most money out of, instead of actually caring about the people who they destroy the lives of by completely using their environment and completely ruining the lives of these people after taking advantage of them throughout history. So we say that this creates a bad, unequal distribution where the wealth only goes to the rich and it will never make its way to the poor because China doesn't care about them. Now, also why democracy doesn't have a chance in this situation is because that the government has full control. They control what comes in and what comes out. Even when this situation develops, and even if it is developing in the status quo, it will come to a stop because China doesn't want to let go of all control, right? So we say that democracy will not have a chance because even if we see it as the open economy, it's not actually open.
Alright, how isolated opposition? Speakers are encouraged to speak softly or whisper because it's quite a small room and also very difficult to see you guys. Alright, House invites the Deputy Prime Minister to conclude the opening of the Thank you.
Opening government regrets two things today. First, that opposition did not realize that their comparative today was they had a comparative when the Asians would suffer even more. Even if they told us that Asians would have unequal development, unequal actually distribution of this kind of help, they would give, because of the rise of these Asian economies, on their side their comparative was essentially continued Western global domination. We think that this further harmed Asian economies. We regret the second thing, that their side never actually dealt with any of our arguments about greater geopolitics and how the greater world power was actually, world power dynamic was actually changed. They wanted to debate only on the domestic spectrum, and I'm going to show you why this material, which was really important, that was not dealt with on their side, would actually impact today's debate. Firstly, she wants to talk to you about how there was a reversal of the power asymmetry in the world. This is the biggest and most important point of this debate, because it controls the many structures that dominate both Western democracies and as well as these Asian countries. We think that these also control many of the structures that oppress these Asian economies. That is why we think that the lifting of these things are really important. This deals with a lot of their arguments on their side they want to bring in closing, such as bringing democracy to these countries. Because we think that the rise of the Asian economies helps to reverse this power asymmetry. Secondly, they talked to you about economy upliftment. And we think that this is extremely important, not only in the domestic scale that they wanted to talk about, but in the larger global scale, because we think that this will not only help the Asian economies, but as well as the Western economies. Logic that Shiva brought to you that was not dealt with by their side. Even if they want to talk about economic disruption and closing house, we think this argument deals with that also. Lastly, about geopolitics, and Shiva talked to you about how there was less interventionism, no response from their side either. But we think that this argument is extremely important because a lot of the conflicts that kill millions of lives in Asia are actually because of the fact that Western power is greatly disproportionate in this sense, and how we reverse this and therefore help them. This deals with any of their arguments about liberating Asian democracies because we think that it suppresses them even more with these conflicts. Moving on to the key question for the half today: who does each side benefit? And I'm going to talk about firstly about economic, who does each side benefit economically, and secondly, who does each side benefit in the political sense. Firstly, on the economy, we think that opposition's main form of case was the fact that basically the economic resources were not equally distributed in the country. This is the core of their attack and the core of their case today. So I'm going to bring down the core of their case. We think that first, the Chinese government actually has an incentive in order to actually distribute wealth equally. Because of the fact that they stand by collectivism as the controlled economy allows them to actually do this, compared to maybe a capitalist system, for example, where the money will actually be distributed inequally to actually certain cities, for example, like Shanghai. We see how the government in China has actually put in a lot of efforts, for example, to elevate third-tier cities and second-tier cities to actually first-tier cities, and we think that this is a very good example of this. But they left out one very key factor in this debate: India. We think that India is actually has a lot of social mobility coming up because of the fact that economic development has helped lower castes in India to actually elevate themselves from the caste system, and we think that this is something that is extremely beneficial, and that's why they don't want to attack on our side. But we think that even on the comparative, let's say even if that there is unequal development that they really wanted to talk about, at least there was some more benefits on our side. At least the Asian people could actually get some more economic benefits that were much better than what they claim on their side. But the Western powers will continue to homogenize the economy and control the economy. I'm going to extend this one line further and show you why there was greater global inequality in the economy and how we think this comes further to Asian economies. So we think that for too long, Western MNCs have controlled the kind of bargaining power they had with these Asian economies. We think that sweatshops in Vietnam, for example, all these poor working conditions in China were the source and root of the Western dominance in the economy. And we want to reverse this by creating more Asian companies that will actually rise and help to actually ensure better working conditions for their Asian counterparts and better livelihoods for the Asian people. We think this is a better comparative than what they wanted to talk about today. But furthermore, I want to talk about geopolitics. We're going to attack, engage them with them, even on their grounds on how, for example, the controlled government will prevent any form of democracy from entering people. We don't think that democracy is an objective good. Yes, they have actually proved to us why this is actually the case. But we think that furthermore, we like to argue here that actually the kind of system and governance that India and China actually have actually something that's beneficial. Even if they want to tell us that democracy is good, then we just like look to India because India actually practices. It is the largest democracy of the world. But we think that in either case, we think that the political models of each country, such as China and India, are well suited to the kind of benefits to actually help the people in their countries. We think China is an extremely large country, and giving the state control is something that's beneficial to them. So at the end of the day, we think that the geopolitical landscape of this will actually benefit China and Indian citizens even more. Why is this the case? Because of the fact that Chinese and Indian cities, for example, have greater prominence in the world. We think that global cities will be restructured and actually related with these Chinese and Indian cities will actually benefit a lot of the local cities. Because firstly, livability will be actually improved in many of these areas. Rural towns will be much more developed because now MNCs will be willing to set up factories in them. Because we think that there are economic benefits that are extremely direct to these people. Here's not going to add an extra level of analysis. We think that these people have been living too long in starvation, living too long in poverty. And by the sense we are able to lift them out of poverty, we think we can win this debate. Because we engage not only the economic spectrum, but the larger geopolitical spectrum, not only in the more domestic context, but the larger global context. I am so proud to propose.
The House thanks Deputy Prime Minister and now invites the leading opposition to conclude the next week. Here.
OG has told us that if we allow the rise of the Asian century, it will lead to greater geopolitics. It will reverse the Western ideal that has been in place for so long. We would argue that actually if you allow the rise of China and India, we would say that there's going to be more political instability in the world. Western countries and Asian countries will have to fight against each other. And they say that right now the Western countries would impose their ideas upon the Asian countries. But right now in status quo, that's not necessarily true because as they have said, Asian countries are still developing. They may not be as strong as the Western countries, but this whole characterization that they give you on how Asian countries simply are inferior is completely false, and we should not let them get away with that. We would also like to say that Western ideals aren't necessarily as bad as what they claim. We argue that Western ideals like democracy have helped many states be able to rise out of poverty, to help their citizens increase the standard of living of their citizens, and then fight against human rights abuses. So their characterization of how Western ideals completely don't help anyone is completely false. Secondly, I would like to stress the point that if we allow China and countries like China and India to become global superpowers, this is going to lead to really bad harm because China is a central government, it's a single party, which means that it only try to benefit the people that it thinks is worthy. And China doesn't really care about minorities and ethnic minorities. So we believe that if China becomes the global power, it will set the wrong stage for international politics. Because it will show that these ethnic minorities don't matter, and what only matters is benefiting the majority of the people, which is what China wants. So we believe that if China becomes the global power, it's going to set the wrong stage for international politics. It's going to twist it into debating about single party and benefits. Secondly, we believe that democracy will be significantly reduced if we allow Asian century to happen. Because China right now is really anti-democracy, and we believe that democracy is good because it allows for different ideas, and while China is oppressing different people, and if we allow this kind of government to become the world standard of what a good government is a really bad form of governing. Go ahead.
India is the largest world democracy.
India is also the most corrupt place on earth because of it's the largest democracy. So we believe that if we allow India and China to become the world powers, it sets the wrong stage for what governing should look like. No. China and India are both places that India is really corrupt, and China is a central government that suppresses voices. If we allow countries like this to be the standard of what good governing is and what good countries is, we argue that it will lead to a downturn in and Western countries typically are promoting, helping to raise the standard of living for people, to have democracy, to let people express themselves. We believe that this ideal is better than what they're proposing, which is to suppress people's voice, which is corruption. So we believe that if we look at the two worlds today, we argue that in a world where you allow China and India to become the global powers, it sets the wrong stage for what countries should be like. It shows people that good government should control, be really oppressive. Government should suppress people's voice. Government should not allow people to express themselves. We believe that this is the wrong message that we want to send to society. We want to tell society that if you're an individual, you should be able to express yourself. You should be able to let all voices should be able to let heard and not let voices be shut out in the dark. So we believe that if we look at their side, they're promoting basically Asian dominance. They're promoting this single party state of China, but China is actually a place where ethnic minorities are oppressed, where people cannot voice out their opinions. We say that this is not what we want on the international stage. So two reasons why you should vote for the opening opposition today. Firstly, we've shown you how if we allow China and India to become the world power, it will lead to political instability and conflict between the Western nations and China and India, which will lead to less possibilities of agreement and less possibilities of change being enacted, right? So we believe that, and secondly, we believe that democracy won't happen if Asian century happens. And we believe that if you allow China and India to become the global standard of what governing should look like, we'll see the world become more corrupt, we'll see the world become more oppressive, and we'll see that the world will think that being oppressive, shutting out people's voices is an okay thing to do. We stand against that, we oppose. Thank you.
Here's how thanks in opposition and subsequently opening exchange. To begin the closing exchange, I invite the member of the Thank you.
One problem inside opposition was that they believed that the condition in China and India would continue to remain, that they were never going to achieve development socially, economically, and idealistically. We think that this is problematic because when we think that India and China is going to be, the new superpowers, that they're going to gain the influence, then we think that there's going to be social changes as well, right? Because it's in their direct incentive to ensure that the welfare of the people are kept in order for them to continue to progress, in order for them to achieve development, and it's also important for them to ensure that the people have, the basic necessities and that their welfare is kept, precisely because it directly affects their progress. I have three main areas of contention against that opposition today. Firstly, on the nature of the government, secondly, on Western ideals, and thirdly, on this idea of instability. So firstly, on the nature of the government. They brought to us this, picture about how China and India are going to be oppressive and they don't care about the people, they don't care about the minorities. We tell you this is not true. As I already mentioned, there's an incentive for them to, invest in these areas, in these rural areas, precisely because they want more people to be educated, they want more of their population to be skilled in order for them to contribute to the economy. The reason why in status quo it's hard for them to do this now is because they have limited resources, because they're still developing. But by the time that they have the influence and this power, we think that China and India will be able to invest, will be able to, take care of the welfare of their population. Furthermore, this idea of wealth distribution and how it's unequal, we see that this is not mutually exclusive in the West either, right? When you come with, for example, in France, Paris makes 45% of the GDP. To give you an example of Detroit in America, all these states aren't equal in terms of wealth distribution. Some, are still quite, in fact, the development is far, behind some of the states within the country, and a lot of people, experience poverty within the same country. So we see that wealth and, inequality in wealth still exists. But why is it better under our paradigm? We think that India and China, because of the sheer size of the population, because of their technology as well as their industry, are able to contribute more to the global market. We think that they're able to produce more job opportunities for people. We think that they have the ability to produce to contribute more to the global economy, as we can see, and like them catching up with other Western nations such as America. So we think that because they have the ability, we think that they provide more benefits to society as a whole, and that they're able to provide more opportunity to people. So moving on to the second idea of Western ideals. They told us that China doesn't practice democracy. They shut out new ideas. We don't think that's the case. Yes, China has its own system, but we don't think it's a bad thing, right? We still see a lot of innovative ideas being carried out within China. There's an incentive for them to have innovative ideas. While they're not going to stay competitive in the global market, we think that the government, in its way, works in its own way to ensure that China does stay competitive. And in the case that democracy is indeed more successful, and let's say democracy does introduce more innovative idea, we think that in the future, then China will have an incentive to perhaps allow more freedom within the country in order for them to maintain its competitiveness. So, and then they told us that Western ideals isn't bad, that we need Western ideals. We tell you that we've never once said that Western ideals was bad, but we think that we also need to add the Asian values and the kind of Asian ideals that they have, right? We think that this cultural erosion that's happening because of this Western superiority is bad. We want people to understand the importance of collectiveness and this idea of working with one another. So we think that we do need to introduce Asian values in order to maintain this culture as well. Moving on to my last area of contention on this idea of instability. So they told us that there's going to be political tension, but we don't think that's the case, right? There's an incentive for Western and Asian countries to maintain in a good diplomatic relationship, precisely because it's going to affect business if they're gonna end up fighting with one another. We think that in order for them to improve their economy, they want to stay in a good diplomatic relationship. Furthermore, we think it's good that they're having competition because now the Western countries have an incentive to improve their businesses and for them to be competitive as well. So we think that this is completely fine. We don't think there's anything bad with having these kind of competition between the West and the Asian countries. So as the first video, we're proving to how this welcoming the Asian century will in fact improve the quality of life for the poor. We think that what opening did, they gave an overarching view of how it improves the economy. But I'll be providing a deeper analysis of how we help the poor, how we help the ones that need the economic help the most. So the problem in Asia is that there are a lot of smaller states that fail to develop or have a disadvantage, and therefore they stay to basic industries such as agriculture. And what this does is that when we have China and India, who are geographically close to these countries, it allows more investments to be brought in. We think that it will allow these smaller states to be benefited from this directly. And we think that these investments are so crucial to these smaller states precisely because they have a population that are in dire need of financial aid. And because we're the ones that provide help to the poor, we're so proud to side on government.
Here, the House that is member of government and have to open votes in opposition and vote opposition.
So our opening opposition, what we have heard is an explanation of economics and a brief explanation on democracy. What we bring to you on closing opposition is a more deeper analysis of the differences in governance between Asian and European countries, and then also the idea of homogeneity inside Asian countries. But first to contend with our government bench. So on the opening government, we have heard mainly three things. First of all, power asymmetry. They first talk about the idea of collectivism, and it was discussed throughout the entire bench. We do not believe that collectivism is the idea that we must have. It brings immense dangers, where it gives immense power to the single entity that can make a single mistake and ruin their country's entire future. We can look back in history when maritime expeditions were conducted. European countries were divided into multiple nations, divided into multiple entities. However, the Chinese government was divided only into a single entity. What happened was the Chinese government decided to be isolationist. The single government decided the outcome of this entire country. Whereas even if a single nation inside Europe back at that time decided they don't want to conduct maritime expansion, want to be isolationist, we still have this vast swath of other different nations that could conduct the same expeditions that we still think is absolutely crucial. So we think that this does not put all your eggs into a single basket, and thus gives you more power and more ability to change. So second of all, we think that practical applications of collectivism, where you're talking groups trying to work together, can still occur under European countries, particularly where we have the idea of communication inside European education, whereas particularly in Chinese education, we have more emphasis on rote memorization as well as technical skills. So the next about an economic output. We do not think that China and India the idea of Asian values were critical to this. We think they expanded quickly because they started at a very low point. It is a simple economic principle that if you start at a very low point, then you can expand very quickly. This has nothing to do with ideologies or the way that they conduct. There's no incentive to uplift because they hate it. Okay, so moving on, the next thing that we talked about was power dynamics. Power dynamics. They think that the European countries and America were conducting military invasions inside of Afghanistan. This was highly unjustified. We do not think that China and India are isolationists at all. We can see this, for example, the Belt and Road Initiative in China. We can see this in South China Sea, where China freely expanded their territories in trying to conduct territorial invasions and basically was an expansionist autocratic country. So they're always and we also think that our critical principle is someone will always be at the top in the field of competition. However, we think that the real debate here should be about the ideologies and the cultures between the two countries. On closing opposition, we think that European ideologies and the idea of democracy and free speech are much better than Asian ideals. So next they talk about capitalism and communism and give an example of Singapore. Two things. First of all, Singapore is not a good model because it's very small and has no influence inside the Asian, not much influence inside the Asian territory. And second of all, China, being communism, is not actually communism. It is the hidden oppression of the poor by the elite, where the poor do not have any voice in politics.
Exactly what.
Okay, so will there be social change? Well, next on the closing government, we talk about social change. We don't think there will be change. Look at Xi Jinping. He spent his entire 5-year regime based on expanding power of the party, expanding power of the government, and expanding oppression of people, increasing censorship, and neglecting their ability to have the free expression. Next on to also culture, that the cultures of China and India are incredibly resilient. They have resisted throughout many centuries of European while other countries have self-harm. We think this means that they are unlikely to change. They also have no regarding incentive help and incentive help. We think that instability. We think this is not unique to Asian countries. As long as they want to keep their power and imperialism over other countries, there will always be this incentive to help. So moving on to our own countries, physical governance. Democracy and checks and governance in the West, we think that the West is much more democratic, much more free. These are values that we should preserve. Why will the Asian century be non-democratic and not free? First of all, we think that because the regimes by itself are autocratic and repressive. Culture was resilient over many centuries. The Chinese government, for example, is completely autocracy. People have no voice, there is no voting, and the Chinese government tells the people that they shouldn't discuss about politics because this is not something that they should engage in. There's incredible censorship online. There's nothing about politics that can be posted. Even if you make it a WeChat alliance, a political name, it will be censored. You can't do that because they think that you're trying to imitate a particular political idea. Also in India, even though it's a democracy, they're trying to silence their opponents through illegitimate means, and we think that this is also a false idea that we cannot uphold. Why will your Western status will be democratic and engage free expression? Legislation by itself, and will give free expression of welcome opposition. The United States Constitution and China see extreme censorship, which directly contrary to this. Why do you think that democratic ideals and free speech is preferable? First of all, it prevents the oppression of minorities because these minorities have a voice. Whereas in China, they have no voice at all. There is no voting. They don't care about the Tibetans or the Taiwanese or the foreigners. We see even examples of racism increasingly prevalent throughout the Chinese government. For example, in the recent WeChat Council, they have translated the Chinese version of a black foreigner into the N-word. We think that these ideals and the inability of the government to prevent this is incredibly detrimental. Whereas the United States have racial minorities, but you have the judicial department, you have the legislative department, and you have voices of the people all to contend in this and to preserve their rights. Second, participation and representation. It gives people a voice in policy to represent the needs, whereas China has no voting and has no voice whatsoever. Also gives political discourse to consider government policies, and also the alternative is authoritarian rule, which we think is highly detrimental. To preserve democratic ideals and free speech, we're very proud of those.
Alright, so we're moving down to the bench, and I invite the gentleman to be here.
Ladies and gentlemen, 3 points of attention around today. Number 1, who best helps people in Asia? Number 2, role and benefits and effect of the policy of the global community. And number 3, this whole idea of an unequal distribution of wealth. Before I begin, however, there's a clarification I would like to make at the beginning of my speech. Right from the start of the debate today, the opposition has shot themselves in the foot. They have spent a majority of their case proving to us why China and India are so bad, why India is so corrupt, and China is so oppressive. But the thing is, all this is happening under the status quo, the very policy that they want to advocate. They've been telling us how bad this problem is, how dire it is to solve the situation, and yet refuse to take any action, refuse to adopt any policies to fix this problem, and because of this, the forms of government will reconcile. Ladies and gentlemen, now before I begin my points of extension, I would like to credit the European government for speaking about the macro situation and telling us about how the United Kingdom and France are as relevant as the one world. However, we feel that our extension is significantly more important in this regard because we focus on the individual people in poor Southeast Asian countries, for example. We talked about these people like why the improvement of Asia's economy was so important, especially for these people who need it most. So now this leads me nicely on to my metaphor today. So to this first point of attention, right? We were told in one of the speeches that the rise of Asia hurts Asian people, and trust me, that point is just as ridiculous as the table sounds. They told us that the government is only going to focus on economics in China, for example, and we don't think this is true at all. And why? They really told you that China has a direct incentive to look after its people. Because both if they are more educated and better and populous, is able to contribute to the economy more. China has a direct benefit in allowing these people to live well. But even so, right, we feel that a better quality of life means there's a higher chance of more successful business people, for example, moving to Shanghai, moving to Beijing, and setting up there, which means they have a direct incentive to make their country as appealing as possible in order to attract the best possible people to contribute to it.
Right.
Because we don't think that China's going to completely ignore the Chinese people at all. We think it has a direct incentive to do the opposite of this. Now, also, the notion that they rely completely on individuals like Jack Ma to interact with outside world is completely false. We give you the example of MNCs like the Wanda Group, Baidu, and Alibaba to prove that this is simply not true. So now moving on, right? In fact, we feel that higher educated, richer people, which is what's going to happen under our paradigm, when Asia becomes a stronger force in the world, is going to solve this problem completely because we feel that this will lead to more political pressure on the government, for example, more people able to criticize the government. We feel that this is what is going to spark internal change. I'll get elaborating on this further in my case, and I'm going to flag it out to you when I do get there. So moving on to this idea of unequal distribution of wealth, right? Well, first of all, we feel that this happens everywhere. And I give you the example of Paris, in which 45% of the country's GDP, or France's GDP, is produced in that one city. And Detroit, which is which is in shambles basically. So we feel that since they failed to respond to this, the argument is fallen completely, and well, it is true that this happens in all of the place. However, we did mention as well that China is still developing, and there is still ample time for developing states to develop. So now on to this part of my case, right, which is when the opposition actually effectively proved a lot of us substantial, 0%, let me tell you why. First of all, they spend a lot of time telling us about how Western Asian countries are going to be fighting and it's going to be less cohesion. Well, we think that this is a really good thing, right? Because, well, healthy economic competition, for example, has numerous benefits for the global community at the moment. We feel that it creates Western monopoly, for example, and produces more bargaining chips among Western countries in global negotiation. But go on.
Yet how is this beneficial if China or India is the only monopoly and Western powers don't have a chance at competing with them?
Ma'am, we don't feel this is going to be the case. The Western powers are not going to turn into third world states and deteriorate overnight. We feel there's still going to be significant powers in the world, albeit not the complete monopoly that's in the past. Therefore, we feel that with the rise of China and India, there are going to be two new major powers as opposed to removing the old ones. So we feel there's going to be greater competition, intercontinental competition, and this is a really, really good thing. So now moving on, right, we feel that going forward, this gives the West an incentive to innovate, gives them an incentive to improve themselves in order to remain competitive. So what does this mean? That more innovation, better products being produced, and we feel this an inherently good thing for the global economy. Now, further on this, right, they also told us that India is really corrupt and China is repressive. And if this is as bad as you say, then why stick with the status quo? It's still for over 100 years, we need to take drastic action right now. So let me tell you, now given that the opposition has failed to solve the problem that brought us to debate today, let me tell you how we do. Well, we feel that when China and India's economy booms, for example, Asian countries become more competitive in the global market, more people are able to get education, more people are able to develop. And when this happens, they can put pressure on the government to reform. Well, because right now the status quo, as they told us, many people are poor and living in poor villages, and because of this, have very little political influence over the main government. However, we feel that when there are educated people, more educated people in the country, it's significantly easier for this change to take place. And we've already seen this happening, for example, such as people writing or people complaining in China, requesting the removal of the internet firewall. So we feel this is an inherently good thing going forward. We solve the problem bigger. So moving on, right, they spoke about how China oppresses democracy, and because this is the wrong message to become a strong economic power. Well, if a successful China is going to be so influential in advocating anti-democratic regimes, we can only imagine the positive effects brought about by the USA, UK, and virtually every other first world country in the world today. So we feel that the impact that China is going to have in sending the wrong message is going to be mitigated by a vast majority of countries throughout the world. And also, we feel that China, despite not being democratic now, is really open to evolution. For example, in Singapore, in which there's been a drastic rise in free speech rights over the past 50 years. So we don't think that China is some monolithic entity that cannot evolve. Finally, we spoke about how the Chinese education system has failed, and how China is imperialist, and what we think that the Chinese education is so bad, we've got to fix that rather than handicapping it or regretting the rise of the economy altogether. So ladies and gentlemen, because I've shown you how we best benefit Asian people, how we best benefit the global economy, and how we best benefit Asia on the whole, I'm just so proud to stand in front of you.
I'll thank the government and subsequently now thank you for the debate, and I'll invite the opposition to appear here.
It is ironic how the government bench thinks that China will suddenly change when it is in dominant power, when from the beginning of its establishment, to Mao's rule, to now Xi Jinping's rule, when it has its economy developed, it has not changed one bit, and it simply brainwashes the people to believe in that ideology already exists. We think China will not change, and democratic ideals will not exist in their world, and thus opposition will win today's debate. Now, before we want to talk about two clashes of today's debate, and why the government bench should not fulfill their burdens, I want to clarify and respond to a premature fraud by Governor Whip. He said that development means social development as well, and China will turn democratic. 4 layers of responses. Firstly, no, China will just defend its principles like it has done in history. When Mao's communist principles were challenged, he chose to use books and propaganda to brainwash its people instead of change and fit others' to opinion of what is democracy. We think that will continue to happen, and if you look at the status quo, Xi Jinping is doing the same thing to protect the government right now. We think this trend will not change. But second of all, we say development has no ceiling, which means that European countries right now can continue to develop and upgrade their ideologies and methods too. We think this is not mutually exclusive. Both sides. But thirdly, once there is an Asian century, we think China and these countries already secured their power, which leaves them no incentive to change because they already established their superiority and power over people. But fourthly, we say
culture itself is a resilient thing. This conservative culture and this authoritarian rule in the Chinese government has existed since it was founded in the centuries and dynasties way before. We think this culture will stick because it is already implemented and embedded into people's minds, and that is something that is hard to tweak. Now moving on to the clash of today's debate. We think the first clash of today's debate is about the economy. We agree that both worlds there's going to be one dominant economic actor. So what is the difference? We tell you there are two questions that are different. Firstly, what is going to be the distribution of wealth on both sides? We think that in their world, the mechanism to ensure the government will distribute wealth fairly is the ideology and the arbitrary belief that collectivism is something good. Well, in our world, we have a clear benchmark and we have a clear leverage at work. We think that instead of just asserting this ideology that collectivism is good, we think we hold the government accountable with elections, with votes, and with the human that has the power to take these government out of their offices. We think this incentive that people want to stay in power will allow them to do more. We think in the status quo, it already proves how their plan does not work. Why? Because China right now has a thriving economy, but instead of putting this money into developing third-tier cities or building roads in villages, instead they built another train track in a district in Shanghai that is not even used because there are too many train tracks in Shanghai already. We think this already proves why China will not distribute wealth fairly. But the second difference is the international impact of this economic dominance. We think the domination of a certain country just shows how it gives us a perception of its superiority. We think that once China is established as a superior country, its ideologies and its regimes will be promoted as superior also. And that is where the difference fundamentally comes in, which leads me to my second clash about the difference and contrast of the two ideologies of the different places. Firstly, I would like to point out the government bench is extremely inconsistent. From the beginning of the debate, they say that we don't think democracy is a good thing, come from a second speaker. Then the third speaker says we think democracy is a good thing, but China wants us to change and adopt into a democracy. We think this is clearly inconsistency. But secondly, we think we as the CEO showed you why democratic ideals are much better to achieve the goals that both teams have already mentioned. For example, innovation that CG mentioned, we think collectivism fundamentally contradicts with this principle, and we think the promotion of diversity and creativity and allowing people to be different and toleration of all of these different ideals, that is what will bring innovation into the society, and thus we achieve these points better. But the unique contribution coming from CEO is that we explain the importance of the different benefits from the American system. Of course, there's some benefits coming from the Asian regime, and there's some benefits coming from democratic regimes. What's more important today is that we weigh the impact of the two benefits. We say that our side provided to the explanation of why this impact is sure.
The motion doesn't read this house celebrates democracy. So we don't understand why India is despite having democratic character, then you debate you're talking about democracy versus
if US is already a thriving democracy, its first model, it has developed for so many years that it fixed a lot of its flaws and does not have as much corruption as India, we think it is much better to promote a country like this as the model that people should follow than to promote countries like India and China. And we think that will lead countries to change for better for real. Now moving on, we think the unique contribution of CEO is that we weigh the impact for you. Why the benefits coming from a democracy like America is truly outweighs these arguments coming from government bench. We think the government bench burden in today's debate is that they haven't proved why the rise of a century, the rise of an Asian century, its global impact on all the countries is good. We think they have not proved their burden because they have no positive impact at all regarding the impacts of how it will affect all around the country. Instead, they focus on China and India, just these two countries, and how it will benefit them domestically. Even though we already took down these arguments, we think it is important to explain the global impact which they have not engaged us with at all. The CEO have proved to you why the structural definition and structural fundamental meaning of the Asian regime is something that is flawed. We think in order to get rid of this, we think we need to make sure that the flaws of these ideology don't flow through the superiority established by their side about the Asian regime. The only way for people to have more rights, the only way for them to have freedom is if we continue to promote Western democracies instead of Asian regimes. Very proud of that.
Speakers across North, they can